Good day, grade 9s. I'm Mrs. Todd, and today's lesson will be about the lithosphere. We are going to look at what makes up the lithosphere, the different layers on the surface of the Earth, as well as the rock cycle which takes place on Earth. The lithosphere is the solid outer part of the Earth, and it includes the upper section of the mantle and crust, which is the outermost layers of the Earth's structure. With regards to the words lithosphere, lith and lithos means rocks and stones. Therefore, we can describe the lithosphere as the outermost layer of the Earth. With regards to what's found inside the Earth is made up of concentric layers called the crust, the mantle, and the core. So the crust is the thinnest upper layer of solid rock and soil, and it provides the main interaction with the biosphere. To do some revision, the biosphere consists of all living organisms found on Earth. The mantle is the thickest layer and the inner part is hot and contains molten rock, which is known as magma. The outer part of the mantle is colder and forms solid rock. The core of the Earth, or inside the outer core is liquid and very hot, while the inner core is solid and very hot. So let's have a look at the layers of Earth. Firstly, we have the crust, which is the uppermost part that forms the outer surface of the Earth, or the highest surface of the Earth. We then have the mantle, which is the thickest layer just below the surface of the Earth. And we have the core, which is the middle or the center of the Earth. So let's go into more detail with regards to the lithosphere. The lithosphere includes all mountains, rocks, soil, and mineral that's included or found within the Earth's crust. Even the seafloor is part of the lithosphere because it's made up of sediments of sand and rock. The brittle upper part of the mantle of the crust forms the lithosphere. The lithosphere, the mantle, and the core are sometimes called the geosphere. This is because it includes all the rocks and minerals on Earth, from molten rock and heavy metals deep within the Earth to the sands on beaches and on the mountains. The lithosphere is considered to be stable, but movement in the mantle can cause movements in cracks in the lithosphere. These movements and cracks could lead to earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Another word that is associated with the lithosphere is the asthenosphere. This is the zone of the Earth's mantle lying just beneath the lithosphere, which is much hotter and more fluid than the lithosphere. An important process that takes place within the lithosphere is the rock cycle. Different combinations of elements and compounds are found within the Earth's crust that form different minerals. These minerals could be platinum, gold, iron oxide, or silicon oxide that can all be removed or formed from the rock cycle. These minerals are formed during the rock cycle. A mineral, which is your definition, is an inorganic, solid, valuable element of compounds which we are able to find within the lithosphere. There are about 3,000 different minerals that are extracted from soil, and these minerals will be recreated due to the rock cycle. So let's have a look at what exactly the rock cycle is. The rock cycle is a natural, continuous process in which different rocks are formed. They are then broken down and reformed again over long periods of time. We have 3 different types of rocks that go through the rock cycle. We have igneous rock, metamorphic rock, and sedimentary rock. But how the rock cycle works, starting with step 1. Molten rock, which is known as magma, is pushed up from the mantle through the surface of the Earth, which is the crust. Something important to remember here is that magma is counted as the melted rock which is found underneath the surface of the Earth, but lava is considered liquid rock found above the surface of the Earth. The igneous rock, which is the first type of rock that forms when magma cools down and sets, and it consists out of relatively large crystals. If the magma takes a long time to cool down, it forms big crystals, which gives us granite, and if the magma takes a short time to cool down, it gives us small crystals, which is known as basalts. Our next step in the rock cycle takes place when sediment forms due to the breaking down and the weathering of igneous rock. Then sedimentary rock forms when the particles, which is sediment, are forced together for a long period of time due to weathering. This could either be due to heat, cold, wind, or water elements. This compaction then forms sedimentary rocks, and two examples of sedimentary rocks is sandstone and limestone. After the formation of sedimentary rock, we then get metamorphic rock that forms when sedimentary rock and igneous rocks are heated and placed under a lot of pressure. This then leads to metamorphic rock. An example of metamorphic rock is slate as well as marble. As you can see, this cycle is continuous. After metamorphic rock is formed, melting occurs again to give us magma. The magma will then cool down to give us igneous rock, and so the process continues. This is why it's known as the rock cycle. So let's have a look at the summary of the rock cycle. Magma out of the soil is forced upwards to form igneous rock. This means closer to the surface of the earth, above the surface of the earth. Through weathering, igneous rock is then broken down into smaller pieces. These particles are then called sediments, which come together and form different layers which are placed under pressure for a long period of time to form sedimentary rock. These layers then get forced down into the mantle and get changed or transformed into metamorphic rock, which then in turn changes back into magma. Thank you for coming to my lesson grade 9s. We'll see you next time for the next chapter.